I'm Carmelo Blandino. I'm a fine artist painter. You have to be fearless to be an artist in many ways because you're exposing yourself all the time. Every single piece that you do, you're putting your heart into it, and then your heart is exposed. People may criticize it, not like it, and there's a certain sense of detachment that has to occur, and detachment is healthy. It's not to be dismissive, but to be detached from the work. You're doing it because you love it, because you need to put your heart into it, and then you just let it go and see what happens with it. If I were to describe myself and my art in one word, I would say earnest is the word I would use. There's no planning in my work. There's just an impetus to have to create something beautiful. I put down a few strokes with the idea of where I want the painting to go, and then a certain form will start to take shape, and then I add another form, and then slowly the painting starts to come together. And I let the painting guide me rather than me guiding the painting. So it's a very different sort of relationship where as things progressively appear on the canvas, I should say, the painting starts to form and I respond to it. I don't actually have a set direction as to where I want it to go. I really go with the flow sort of thing. It just naturally just appears. It's always been there basically. I just sort of bring it forth. Yeah, that's the sort of experience that I have when I paint. I have a relationship with life that is of that sort of nature where I don't see life as being minuscule. I mean, we tend to be small, but I mean, the cosmos and the universe and the galaxies are infinite. It just goes on and on and on. So that sort of movement is also in place within the movement of my paintings and all the textures that you see. I mean, if you really look around, there's a lot of that around us. We just don't essentially pay attention to it because we break everything down to simplistic ideals like that's a flower, that's a street lamp, that's the road, that's a blade of grass. In fact, what it is, it's nothing but abstractions and then nothing more than just forms and lines and color. I think sometimes people think that being an artist is one of the easiest things in the world, and it's not, because you put in long hours and you put in a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and sometimes tears. But overall, it's satisfying. It's a very, very satisfying trade for me. Yeah. The work seems random and chaotic because living is random and chaotic. It really is. So, to present to you something that is very polished and neat, doesn't really fit with my perception of how I see things. I mean, we live in a very chaotic, random, happenstance world. You surrender to it. You let the chaos guide your life because you are exactly where you're supposed to be at every moment of your life. And, the overall thing that actually created this whole symbiotic relationship between man and nature and animal and the entire ecosystem and the galaxies, we're back there again. There's a very specific rhythm to all of this, and it presents itself as being chaotic because of our perception of it. I understand that part of it, but it's not as neatly formed as we'd like it to be. So I reflect that in my paintings. I reflect the chaos that we live on a day-to-day basis. Now it's not a form of anxiety. It is actually a form of peacefulness when you surrender to it. If you really look at what we're able to create within that chaos, my God, it's magical. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Art hits everybody at all levels. Whether you're speaking to a university student, a beginner, a hobbyist, somebody who's experienced, it's sort of like we're all looking for some form of progression, acknowledgement, recognition. That our voice be heard, that our voice be understood. What people need to start a work of art is passion. Let passion drive you. The materials, because you're passionate, you'll find the right ones. The studio, because you're passionate, you'll find the right studio for you. Because you're passionate, the right clients will come to you and they'll start buying your work. You have put in years and years of time into your work because you're passionate. What you need is passion. And then the experience. You have to work. You just have to work. And so you have a combination of the passion gets you out of bed and gets your ass to the studio and gets you working. But you need to work. So the combination of the two is what you really need.